Conor McGregor vs Khabib Nurmagomedov wasn't just the biggest fight in MMA history, the build-up completely crossed every line between good and evil.
Shut your mouth, mate.
And the craziest part, at one point these two actually got along. They even talked about training together, which today sounds absolutely impossible. How things escalated this far and the full story behind the beef, that's what we are breaking down in today's video. And now grab yourself some popcorn, drop a like and make sure to subscribe. The story begins in 2014. Conor McGregor was just starting to make a name for himself and was about to face his first big challenge in the UFC, Dustin the Diamond Poirier. But before the fight even started, during McGregor's walkout, we see a familiar face in the crowd, Khabib Nurmagomedov. He seemed excited for Conor's fight, even taking pictures or videos of him. And that wasn't random. Just a few days earlier, the two had a short interaction on Twitter. No insults, no trash talk, and Khabib actually complimented Conor on his shirt, and Conor even invited him to train together. Then McGregor got a cold first round knockout over Dustin Poirier. Backstage, a now legendary photo was taken. Khabib celebrating Conor's victory, smiling next to him. At that moment, nobody on earth would have believed these two would one day become bitter enemies. And I have to say, Conor was a different person back then. He was fully locked into the fight game. He predicted the round he would knock people out in, and then actually did it, and moreover elevated the trash talk to another level.
No mistake, I am cocky in prediction. I am confident in preparation, but I am always humble in victory or defeat.
And that version of Conor McGregor you just had to love. He was funny, disciplined, and an absolute beast of a fighter. But everything changed when he hinted to move up to lightweight, right before his fight against Jose Aldo. At that time, Khabib was already one of the top contenders at 155 pounds, and when Conor was asked who he would like to fight at lightweight, he even said Khabib would probably be the champion by then.
Who do you predict is gonna have it? I think Khabib will get the lightweight belt.
But things played out differently. McGregor knocked out the undefeated 10-year reigning champion in Jose Aldo in just 13 seconds, becoming the biggest star the MMA world has ever seen. Meanwhile, things weren't going so smoothly for Khabib. He was ranked number 4 in lightweight, but a torn meniscus forced him out for a long time. At one point, he even considered retiring, which shows how bad this injury was. The UFC then scheduled Conor McGregor to fight Rafael dos Anjos for the lightweight belt on March 5th, 2016. But 1 month before the fight, dos Anjos broke his foot. McGregor said he didn't care who stepped in, any opponent, any weight. And a wild Nate Diaz appeared out of nowhere, who admitted he couldn't make lightweight, and Conor didn't care. And then they agreed to fight at welterweight. And nobody gave the guy from Stockton a chance. Conor was undefeated in the UFC and in all of his bouts kind of looked unstoppable. But then Nate Diaz shocked the world by submitting Conor McGregor in the second round. And Conor couldn't accept that. He demanded an immediate rematch and won 5 months later in an absolute war. The king of MMA was back. And also Khabib returned the same year after more than 2 years of injury and dominated Daryl Horcher and instantly climbing to number 2 in the rankings. Logically, he deserved a title shot. But the UFC saw Conor as the bigger star. So even though McGregor hadn't fought once at lightweight in the UFC, he got a title shot against Eddie Alvarez. And of course, Khabib was furious, because the UFC promised him a title fight. At UFC 205, the UFC made a smart move, putting both fighters on the same card. And then they met backstage again after 3 years. But this time, they weren't friendly. Conor insulted Khabib publicly during weigh-ins, and Khabib calmly responded that he will one day make him pay for his actions. And after dominating Michael Johnson, Khabib grabbed the mic and sent a direct message to McGregor.
Beginning of the year, he tough like chicken. end of the year he fight for the title. Crazy. Hey, you know guys, this is true. This is not trash talking.
Then McGregor destroyed Eddie Alvarez and became the first double champion in UFC history. And of course it looked like the fight between Conor and Khabib was inevitable, but McGregor had other plans in mind. He switched the sports and boxed Floyd Mayweather, where he reportedly made around $100 million in a single night, and therefore never defended his lightweight belt. So the UFC scheduled Khabib vs Tony Ferguson for the vacant title. But Ferguson got injured, and Max Holloway couldn't make the weight on short notice. So Khabib fought Al Quinta instead and won the lightweight belt in dominant fashion. Meanwhile, Conor was back in Ireland living his best life. Then everything exploded. Backstage, Khabib slapped Artyom Lobov, a teammate of McGregor, who had insulted him in an interview. And when Conor found this out, he totally lost his mind. He chartered a private jet with his whole Irish thug squad and stormed the buses who are transporting fighters to the weigh-ins. They threw objectives at the bus trying to get Khabib out. And Khabib actually wanted to come out, but his team held him back. In this chaos, several fighters were injured and McGregor got arrested and later sentenced in court. Eventually, the UFC announced Khabib vs Conor for UFC 229. And from the very first press conference, it was pure chaos.
My Chechen friends, the Vainaki soldiers, they told me that they have chicken jaws in Dagestan.
Conor attacked Khabib's religion, his family, and also mocked him for the bus incident.
First thing when I showed up at that bus, I showed up my hands to let it know I come here unarmed, no weapons. Step off the bus. You talked a big game, now I'm here. He done fucking nothing. He sat and took a shit on that bus.
But Khabib stayed calm and simply said, "You will pay for your words."
And I don't know what this guy talking about. I don't understand what he gonna do 6 October. He think whiskey gonna help him? I don't understand.
And he did. Khabib dominated most of the fight and in the 4th round locked in a submission and McGregor tapped. But that wasn't the end. He jumped over the cage and attacked Conor's team. The arena erupted into total chaos. Something this sport has never seen before. After that night, their paths separated, at least professionally. But to this day, the bad blood remains, especially online. And McGregor hasn't held back. After Khabib's father passed away, Conor posted a tweet that crossed every line, which honestly just shows how desperate he is and reveals the dirty personality he really has. Because he attacks dead people, which is truly the absolute worst thing you can do. And I personally lost the respect for him, which is kind of sad, because at one point he was one of the most inspirational figures out there. And the crazy fact is that Khabib's father was against the whole conflict and once invited Conor to Dagestan to settle the conflict peacefully.
Я в прямом эфире пригласил и Конора.
Да.
Да, я сделал такое заявление, пригласил Конора в гости. И почему бы, значит, ему не посетить Дагестан?
Вы на самом деле его простили?
Да.
Вот абсолютно.
Вот понимаете, вот...
За те оскорбления. Вот.
Нет, это все прошлое. Нельзя останавливаться, жизнь продолжается. И наша религия должна показать милосердие не на словах, а на деле. Если он приедет, вы увидите то же самое. Примем его как дорогого гостя.
Anyways guys, this is the whole story. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the rivalry. As always, stay healthy and I'll see you in the next one.
I'm gonna put him back to box.